Nickel.
Make a difference. Now what about you?
If doctors and nurses were to operate in a similar decentralized system of practice, we would be livid. If hairdressers and pilots were to say that they were just learning on the job the way that teachers do, we would be outraged. If we continue to do what we are doing currently, we will lose our kids. It is of great urgency that we take charge of the change that we would like to see in the profession. In the US, there are more than 2,000 teacher preparation programs, and we still do not have a professional system for preparing teachers.
But what if, just what if, people treated teachers like doctors? In the medical profession, doctors become experts in their craft through tailored experience at a teaching hospital. What if in the education profession, teachers develop their craft in the same way? We need to change the narrative of public education in the United States. We invite you to take charge of the change we would like to see in this profession through the Envision School, a K-5 teaching school. At Envision, we prepare our teachers using the same model that teaching hospitals use to prepare doctors. We have decided to locate our school in Bakersfield, California, a city chosen primarily for its consistent ranking as one of the least educated cities in America, and for its proximity to the California State University schools, which has been looking to reform their teacher preparation programs through the New Generation for Educators initiative. Envision operates on 4 distinguishing pillars based on our research of the medical profession and includes the following components: a residency model, high leverage practices, core content knowledge for teaching, and community, as we are grounded in a community of practitioners working together and alongside families to better the teaching profession.
As a resident of California, I have been quite concerned by the way in which we prepare teachers for the classroom with little to no experience. This is why I feel so strongly about the structure of the Envision residency program. During the students' freshman year, they work towards fulfilling prerequisite requirements. At the end of the year, they apply to the fellowship. In the second year, fellows take foundational classes where they participate in weekly observations at the Envision school. Additionally, fellows participate in a one-on-one tutoring program at Envision. In the third year, fellows take methods courses focused on high leverage practices. They also serve as interns at the Envision school, where they spend every other day on site participating in teaching rotations across different content areas. In the final year, fellows serve as full-time residents at the Envision school and spend 2 semesters sharing comprehensive teaching and classroom responsibilities with Envision master teachers. Residents engage in regular feedback and reflective sessions with their master teachers who serve as their mentors. Now you will hear from one of our master teachers.
I'm Marissa, a master teacher. I've been teaching for 7 years. If I was given the opportunity that our fellows have been given to develop their practice through 3 years of observations and experience, if I had been given continuous support of university and school staff, if I had been supported by a mentor teacher who was trained in coaching teaching me in high leverage practices and their specific content area, I would have not failed the students I taught during my first 3 years. If I had been given professional development in how to mentor new teachers, if my schedule had allotted time to meet with my student teacher, if I had been given a clear lens in which to support teacher growth, then I would have been able to help more teachers grow their practice. What has helped me understand teaching tremendously is the 19 high leverage practices developed through Teaching Works. These practices have been adopted by teacher preparation programs across the United States to shift the profession, to use a professional standard. Currently, I am working with a fellow on a high leverage practice number 2, leading a whole class discussion. I'm teaching her about how to use students' ideas and discussions as resources, while also allowing students to practice listening, speaking, and interpreting ideas together. I know you're probably thinking, oh yeah, whole group instruction, but that's not it. That's not all. We're talking about teaching as a contingent practice, dependent on students' thinking. From classroom to classroom at Envision, you will see master teachers elicit student ideas in whole group and small group discussions, and actually facilitate and teach. This is not something that came naturally to us. We weren't born with this skill. We were taught how to do this. I also have 115 minutes of professional development and planning time in my schedule every day. Colleen will elaborate on this. The collaboration here at Envision has brought to light the importance of having a common language for observing and supporting teachers. This is Colleen, one of our CSU specialists.
I'm Colleen, a CSU Bakersfield Math Content Specialist at Envision. What really drew me to Envision is the extensive amount of planning time teachers are given to dig into the core content knowledge for teaching. One of Envision's most unique qualities is its departmentalization model. Too often, people think that they can teach something just because they learned it. For example, there are a large number of people who think they can teach 5th grade math because they passed 5th grade. This is scary. You wouldn't say, I know how to perform open heart surgery because I underwent open heart surgery. Why do people assume this will be the case when it comes to teaching? Envision focuses on core content knowledge, the particular topics, practices, and texts that are foundational to the K-5 curriculum based on the Common Core standards. Leading a discussion in mathematics, for example, is not the same as leading a discussion of a novel. Responsible teaching also requires being able to understand and work with content in special ways. We prioritize specific content with which students often struggle and content that is crucial for learners' development. How do we do this? 3 days a week, I have the opportunity to work with my content team of teachers, which consists of the math master teacher, math residents, and math interns for 70 minutes. We discuss anything from problems we want to use as examples, to charts we want to use, to the actual action plan. The other 2 days of the week, the fellows have an opportunity to debrief and reflect with their master teachers. Additionally, every Wednesday is an early release day for students, and I get to work with the Envision staff to have an additional 2 hours to dive into their content practices. This is what I've always wanted, the opportunity to collaborate with others and to challenge each other's thinking in a very productive way. Next, we will hear from Kira, one of our fellows.
Thanks, Colleen. You know, as an Envision fellow, I really appreciate our approach to content. I am personally tired of seeing the drill and kill of test taking in our classrooms. The education of our youth should not be confined to teaching them strategies or templates to fit their ideas. I'm sure Shakespeare didn't need a template to write Hamlet. Why do our kids need one for their ideas? In addition to learning the importance of content, as a first-year fellow, I observed master teachers like Marissa to build my understanding of how to implement the high leverage practices. In my second year as an intern, I was able to apply what I was learning in my classes in small group instruction and learned a lot from my clinical rotations. This year as a resident, I'm excited to be leading whole group instruction alongside Marissa. I'm also working on High Leverage Practice 10, Building Strategic Relationships. While it has been a new experience leading a class, I'm enjoying the amount of support I get. The level of community between my kids, my master teacher, and my professors make me feel like I am prepared to teach next year. This year, I will work with both a humanities and STEM teacher to decide what I want my own teaching focus to be. I think I'm leaning toward humanities. I couldn't imagine being an elementary school teacher without teaching kids or giving kids a chance to read Chicka Chicka Boom Boom with some eager, In reflection, I originally applied to be an Envision Fellow because I thought by teaching, I could close the achievement gap. I quickly learned that I was wrong. Saying that we are here to close the achievement gap suggests that all responsibility is on the students. We at Envision are here to close the opportunity gap by giving all of our students the opportunity to have access to excellent teachers. Now let's hear from one of our parents.
I'm Karen and I'm a parent. And both Marissa and I are new moms. And as new moms, what keeps us up at night is not the curriculum or the test scores or even the mission and vision of the school. What keeps us up at night is whether our kids will have successful teachers in front of them who know what they're doing and who treat our kids well. At Envision, our kids will have a successful teacher in front of them every year, every day. This is simple. The answer is simple. Skillful teaching needs to become commonplace for our teachers to take back the profession. We, as parents, teachers, administrators, and faculty in higher education, need to form a cohesive community because there has been a very, very long history of teacher education reform that has produced very little change. For too long, we have let policymakers in high positions make decisions for students and families. For too long, we have allowed others not in education to define what it is that a teacher does all day long. For too long, we have been too disorganized as a profession to advocate for ourselves.
So we ask you to envision.
For our kids.
For our teachers.
For the profession.
For the community.
For a future of a professional system of practice, a future that is equitable and just, a future of which we have taken charge. We are
Envision.
I like have like tears and chills. Guys, I'm so happy. I feel like that. Remember that scene in Mean Girls at the end? It's like she doesn't even go here. I don't know what to say in terms of this. Like stellar transition, and I think the reason I'm so emotional is because like at the very end, like what you touched on is just like so true, and it's also so believable that it can happen based on how you laid it out. All of like the technical things support that how. So like the grounding slides in terms of the pillars. The script, I literally put the period script because you do it in such a unique way. So like you hit on something that is indicative of the profession as it currently is, and then you stake a claim and say like, and this is how we're seeking to change it. And it's subtle, but like you pick up on it and you're like, yeah, like, all right, I'm about Envision. I also want to give critical feedback too. So when you highlighted community at the very bottom in pink, did you do that for all the rest of your pillars?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's neither here nor there. Like it's just it was like, oh, okay, like what's like whatever. I would also, you might play with the spacing of community and make it a little bit larger, and then move the 3 pillars up and space them away so that it's not connected to the bottom of community, and just have them resting on their own.
I have a question about that. So I noticed that when you said fellows and the community, you said and it's built on the community. Is that why the proximity, or is there?
Yeah.
We were just going back and forth between 3 and 4 pillars. It doesn't,
What's your
still
RFP?
going back and forth between 3 and 4 pillars. Yeah.
I do think to make it a pillar, if you want community to be a pillar, to actually make it a pillar. And if you want your 3 pillars grounded in community, then it makes more sense to have it. But just the slide to match the narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm done crying.
I know. I'm not really sure where to start. I'll start small and get bigger. I love the flashcards with the logos.
That's your idea.
Yeah. So clearly I like it. I have to admit it. And everything too. It's like, you guys, yeah, it's not just my team. You guys did a great job with your physical presence, with your hands. There were a few little spots where I think just a few more practices will iron out the, like people talking and clicking and that. And we have to give you guys props because I know that you've spent a lot of time on this presentation and it shows. Like you really stepped up to the plate and it looks really good. I mean, you got Linda over here tearing up and me as well.
I mean,
Like, very, very nice job on that. I think I hesitate to even mention this, but in the movie at the end, I found it a little strange how your logo is slightly cropped. Like you lose part of the N on Envision.
It zooms out too far.
Yeah. I think you guys have really, I think with practice, it's gonna blow people out of the water. Just a little bit more practice, you guys are gonna be there, and already, we really enjoyed it, so thank you for that. You guys clearly worked really, really hard.
So Ariel, I was just feeling really bad because you kept doing this. I wonder if you could turn your body a little bit so that you could see if you're going to click. Because I noticed you were doing this while you were standing there. This was wonderful.
No, thank you. I was at the first time listening to you.
Oh,
Yeah. So thank you guys for being our practice. So, but I appreciate that.
Sorry. Rachel, what was the time?
12:30.
And Gray, any comments?
I think the presentation really spoke to your RFP and what you're trying to get out there. So now the two really match. I think the person is meant that this is a clear message of what you want and how you want to do it. Yeah. And I think the key for all teams is less on the screen and more of your heart into it. And that's what makes everyone think, wow, I want to work, go, support, do everything for this goal. So good job.
I just want to thank everyone who helped us get to this.
Yeah.